Hi there. We're going to do chapter 1 from the Principles of Management textbook, which is for the HRB class for Sac State. That I am, it's not HIV class, so we're doing auto transcription here. HROB is what it should be. Human Resources Organizational Behavior 101. My name is Jessica. I'll be the professor for this course, and we will be doing the videos of the chapters online. So welcome, please come along. We're doing chapter 1 in several parts because it's pretty big. The topics we're going to cover in this chapter include getting to know who managers are and what they do. We're also going to talk about the different disciplines that have informed the field of management, and they include psychology, leadership, entrepreneurship, and strategy, plus many others. But these are the big ones that we draw upon to understand management and managers in organizations. Then this textbook uses a framework that we will keep coming back to very frequently in every chapter, and it's the polc framework. And so you'll see that at the introduction of every chapter and throughout the chapters quite often. And it's just useful for us to have that sort of structure around how we are thinking about management, because otherwise it can become a little bit abstract. We are also going to look at how we measure performance, right? So most organizations, we have goals and we need to see results. And how do you measure them? We are also going to look at individual and team performance, which is in addition to that organizational level performance. And then lastly, we are learning in this book how to take these principles and apply them to our own lives and our own careers to be better humans, better managers, and better employees. So it's really a fun class, and it's useful regardless where you're at within your career or what you plan to be, because humans make up every organization. And so knowledge around that is very useful. So what is management? Management is really about how we meet goals in organizations by drawing upon the resources that we have. And the resources that we are focusing on in this course is the human resources, right? The people that make up the organization. And as managers, we need to deploy these resources, these humans, these peoples, so that they do tasks and projects by deadlines to meet the goals of the organization. So in a very broad stroke, that is what management is. And I had this manager one time when I did a workshop at Intel Corporation, and he asked me, what is that one piece that you need? What is the one piece, he actually asked, that can make Intel into Google? And it's really a 1,000-piece puzzle. And as you will see in this course, there's 1,000 different things to be mindful of. And so pick up one at a time, try it on and use it. And you will see that your management skills will get better. So we get things done in the organization through other people, right? We already talked about that. We're going to use the planning, organizing, leading, controlling framework to structure it. And we're doing tasks with these people, and they can either be individual contributors, humans, one, or they can be groups. And we come together in organizations because our goals are so big that they can't be done by one person or by 10 people. We also have a bunch of different managers and different types of managers. I'm not going to cover them in this lecture. So you should take a look in the textbook to find out who those are, what those are, who those are, what those are. All right, and I'm just moving things around on my slides here so we can see most of everything that is going on. So who is a manager? A manager is somebody that has the authority and the responsibility to make decisions and to direct the work of other people. And traditionally, that has been done in a very sort of top-down management approach, where these managers are making sure that All of the goals are clearly laid out. How the work should be done is clearly specified. And then managers are telling employees how to do their job. And in return for that telling, these employees are loyal to the organization. They are obedient, meaning that they are doing what they're being told. Traditionally, that was the perspective. Today, when we are in 2020, 2021, 2022 even, managers look a little bit different. So here we actually have a structure where managers, together with employees, think about the work that needs to be done. So we now have support from the managers to the employees. The employees are empowered, meaning the employees have taken on responsibilities and authorities for making decisions and for executing on work. And they learn more on the job. That means, or we as employees learn more on the job. We are more marketable because we no longer have that lifetime employment with our organizations that we used to have 50 or 70 years ago. So we move around more often, and to be able to do that, we now also have to acquire skills that makes us marketable. And by learning more and taking on more, we are that marketable person. So now together with managers, we actually get the work done. We set the goals. And so that is what empowerment is, which is really a big word for us today. So empowerment is the process of enabling someone to think, to behave, and take action and control their work and their decisions autonomously. So a lot of the time, the manager still owns it, have the full accountability, but the employees are the ones doing much of that, and that is empowerment. So here is the first look into the polc. So as we've already talked about on the prior slide, we have goals in an organization that we need to meet. These are the things that needs to be done for us to be successful. We are trying to make sure we do our work so that we can be effectively and efficiently meeting these goals through our activities. Effectively means that we are meeting the goals we have set out to do, we are successful. And efficiently means we're doing it either with less resources or we're getting more output for the same resources. And so when we then define this polc framework that helps us be effective and efficient, we start with P, which is the planning. Nothing can get done without a plan. We know from strategy, we know from psychology that a planner will always outperform somebody who doesn't plan. So if you don't plan, start planning and you will see that you will do better. Set goals and plan. The same is true for organizations. They set goals and they plan. Then we organize our resources because like you have one brain, you have one body, you have 24 hours in a day. Those are your resources. How do you deploy your resources so that you can have the life you want? Same is true for organizations. They have resources, maybe a factory, maybe a budget, they have humans working for them, etc. They have vendors, etc. How they utilize those resources matter. Some organizations are better at utilizing the resources. That is, they organize the resources in a way that is more effective and efficient. Okay. Then also, we need to lead. We just talked about management on the prior slide. We talked about how managers used to manage, and we talked about how managers today manage. Today, we need leaders. We need those who are passionate about work, who get us passionate, who see the vision, who get us excited about moving in that direction. And so being a leader today is much different than what it used to be. So here we are using social and informal sources of influence, meaning we don't tell, we don't direct, we don't yell, we don't punish, but we actually informally inspire people. We use charisma, we use excitement, we use vision, we use caring, we use encouragement. Those are all the things that our employees want from us. And if we can learn to manage in that way, we will be much better off as managers and as organizations. And that means that we have to understand people, their personalities, their values, their attitudes, their emotions, etc. And then finally, we need to check and see, did the work get done? That means we are controlling to see, we got the performance standard. Are you meeting the standard? Are you falling below the standard? Are you actually exceeding the standard? So we control the extent to which work is being done the way it should be. Okay, so Henry Mintzberg is a gentleman scholar who's been writing a lot on strategy. And he also talked about the 10 different roles that managers can take on. The key here is not that you need 10 managers. The key here is that one manager will take on or execute different roles depending on what is needed. So a manager in this sense can assume multiple roles. So you need to do different things. A role is an organized set of behaviors. Okay? So when you play soccer, there's a certain set of actions and behaviors you engage in as a soccer player. As a friend, there's a different set of behaviors. As a student, again, a third set of behaviors. So one role comes with certain behaviors with them. When you're an employee, a fourth set of behaviors. So each of these roles have different behaviors and actions that are needed. So we have 10 roles and they fall into 3 different categories. We have the 3 categories here. We have informational, we have decisional, and we have interpersonal. Okay, these 3 sets or these 3 categories of roles essentially define what a manager does for work. So in the informational, we are linking all the managerial work together. These are processes for information and providing of feedback. Information focused. Decisional, right? Here we use the information. We make decisions. And here for interpersonal, that information is provided and we accept feedback. Interpersonal meaning between 2 or more people. Let's break it down a little bit further. So for that interpersonal that we were just talking about, we have 3 roles, right? So here is the category. And as you know, I do not write very prettily on my computer. These are the categories, and these are the roles, and these are the definitions. That's definitely an F and a period. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 roles. The figurehead role means we have a social and legal responsibility. We are a source of inspiration and authority. So as a manager in an organization, we have the figurehead role, where it literally means we have some legal responsibilities that we take on through our work. And also people look up to us. We are authority in the organization. We should be inspiring them. We talked about leadership just recently on the polc slide, right? This means we informally and socially inspire people. That's what leaders do. They don't tell like you might up here with authority, but we lead them and they willingly follow us. That's a difference there. And then we are also liaisons. meaning we are conduit, we are passer-throughs of information. So information comes through us, information runs through us as liaisons or conduits, either external, meaning from the outside of the organization, or even from the inside. So I talk to the top managers and I feed information to my employees. I'm a conduit of information. So to be able to do that, we need to network. We need to have contacts in the organization, outside of the organization. And you also, even if you are not necessarily a manager, networking is something you need to do. And you can think of it as just making friends, right? So networking isn't necessarily just going to events, it's making friends and maintaining those relationships. Beautiful. Let's move forward. So we're going to pick another color for this one. Let's go with green. So here we have the informational category. We have, again, 3 roles. We have the monitoring, the disseminating, and being a spokesperson. Second category, 3 new roles. When we monitor, right, we pay attention to information, both external as well as internal to the organization, because an organization always have to move forward towards the vision to execute on their strategy. And so for us to be successful in that role, we monitor what goes on. Think about yourself as a human being. You monitor your own environment, your family, your friends, your dog, whatever it is. You monitor in your house, in your apartment, in your condo, in your room that you're renting, in your car. You're monitoring what is going on there and what goes outside of that, right? So internal and external, we pay attention to what is going on. Now we need to disseminate that information, right? Do you have kids? Do you have a spouse? Do you have friends? Do they know what is going on? Are you sharing information with them? Sure you are. And as a manager, we do the same thing. People need to have information to be able to do their job, especially now when we're so big on empowerment. If we are going to have people autonomously do work, decide on when work is done, what work is done, they absolutely need to have the information so that they can do that work. And then you're also going to act as a spokesperson, which means you represent the company. You provide information to others who seek it, right? And so you might do this often or not so often. And that's the thing with these roles. You do some of them all the time, some of them less frequently, some of them, in between somewhere. Our third and final category with the, let's see, where's my gray? I thought I had a gray. With the third category called decisional, right? Here we use the information to make decisions. We actually have 4 different roles. So we have the first one being an entrepreneur. We have the second one called a disturbance handler. The third one is a resource allocator. And the fourth one is a negotiator. And so when you're an entrepreneur, you actually solve problems. You make changes, you come up with new ideas. You challenge the process. We do this as managers in the organization. So we're not entrepreneurs, small business people right now. In an organization we work for, we act as an entrepreneur. Sometimes we call this intrapreneur because you're in an organization. But the point here is that you're really solving problems, thinking of new, better ways to do existing things, new ideas, etc. The second one is the disturbance handler. Here you mediate conflict because there's other people working around you, right? With you, in your team, whatever that is. And so I'm realizing you might not be able to see this. I don't know actually. Okay, let me know what you see on the screen. You can type it into the comments and I'll fix it. But I would like for you to see both the what do you call it? The written commentary. Sometimes I lose my English words. English is my second language. And also the video because it just, adds a little bit to it. You see who's talking. Anyways, so disturbance handler, we work with other people. People have emotions. They do things wrong. They have different personalities and values. So stuff happens, they get stuck, the team gets in a disagreement, whatever it is. So being a disturbance handler essentially just means that we help people work through their stuff. And so this is really a big skill that we all should pick up because we do it so frequently, right? And we get stuck too. Resource allocators means, I already talked about resources on the POLC slide, if you remember. We have resources as an organization. How we utilize and structure those resources, how we organize them, will make a difference for whether or not we're going to be successful. How do you spend your time? How do you use the energy from your brain? That matters, right? As a manager in an organization, deploy resources to where they need to be deployed. Okay, who gets money, who gets time, who gets the office space, etc. Lastly is negotiations, right? As I'm actually teaching an MBA course on conflict and negotiation right now. So the negotiation piece of this is that we're always trying to advance our own personal position and the position of the other party. And we're trying to come to mutually beneficial agreement. And so you will do that in, employment contract negotiations with new employees. You're doing it with the union, you're doing it with a vendor. You're constantly negotiating with individuals as well as with other organizations. So with that, that's going to wrap it for this quick first intro into chapter 1, and I'll see you for the next one. Have a good one. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care. Bye.